been to Nigeria before. Do you like it? Do you like the weather? I can see that. Okay, all right. And how many of you know about Nigerian culture? Oh, you've been to Nigeria as well? Oh, okay.
Learning about the culture.
Okay. Tell me about the culture, if you have an idea. Anyone? Any volunteers who can tell me about the culture? Anyway. Oh.
It's very diverse because it has multiple cultures and multiple languages.
Thank you. Any other person? Okay. All right. One thing I would like to mention to you is that Nigeria is the largest country in Africa in terms of size, in terms of so many things. It's only that we're trying our best to make sure that the country works. We have a lot of ethnic group, and we have different greetings. But there are three main groups in Nigeria, which are the Igbos, the Yorubas, and the Hausas. And we have different greetings, the way we greet in Nigeria. A lot of courtesy goes into how we greet, how we respect our elders, and this is very important because they will see you as a rude person if you don't know how to respect your elders. Even, it's not like here, you can see your teacher and you can call him Mr. John or you can call him John. But in Nigeria, you have to like put a bit of respect into the tone that you use when you're talking to an elderly person. And the greetings that we have in Nigeria, like the Igbos will say, Dalu, Kedu. Kedu means, how are you? Dalu means bye-bye. Correct me if I'm wrong. And then the Yorubas will normally say Bawoni. That is, how are you? How are you doing? And Odabo means bye-bye. The Hausa people will say Sonu. Sonu de Aiki. They will say something like Inakwana. And then there's a reply that comes with it. Apart from that, does anybody know, I've told you the answer already, let's see whether you're listening or not. The most populous country in Africa. And the name of the longest bridge in West Africa? Do you know it? No? Okay. It's called Tom Million Bridge. And to drive from one end to the other, it takes 30 minutes. Driving from the end of mainland to island is 30 minutes on that bridge without traffic. But when there is traffic, God helps you, maybe about 2 hours. Another thing I would like to mention, do we know? Down the bottom. We are famous. We have good writers in Nigeria. Chidinma is one of them. Chimamanda, Chinua Achebe. Has anybody read the book called Things Fall Apart? Yeah. Okay. Can you say something about it? Do you know? Can you remember it? Sorry? Your sister. Okay. All right. Music. We are recognized by music. We have the Afrobeat everybody knows about nowadays, but the king of Afrobeat is Fela Anikulapo Kuti. Then we have other traditional group-based musicians like Ebenezer Obey. P Square, you all know. Then we have a thriving industry in Nigeria called Nollywood. That's where we have all our movies. And I don't need to read through all this, but Nigeria is full of natural resources. But one day we will manage it better. That's all I was saying to that. Then our fashions is distinct all over the world. Whenever you go anywhere, you're wearing a tie like this, the first thing they will think of, oh, it must be a Nigerian, or any other group. And then our food, everybody likes jollof rice, beer rice, you guys call it. So hopefully that's another thing that you know about Nigeria. And Nigerians are born hustlers. We also, in a good way, in a bad way. But the good thing is that we are very, very business-minded. Especially the Igbos are very business-minded. The Yorubas as well. But the Hausas, I cannot say for them because I don't know much about their culture. But I believe that they do it as well. And so the country is quite good. And why I'm saying all this is that just for you to have an idea of how Nigerians are well recognized, because we go for it. We don't just give up. We don't have, we have an attitude of never giving up. We have an attitude that your attitude is your altitude, the way you have to think very highly of yourself, and you have to be self-determined to be anywhere in the world, your professional careers. So you say, you hear people saying this, Nigerian. Does anybody understand that? The broken English we speak in Nigeria. Nigerian, what does it mean? Do you have an idea? No. That Nigeria are in such a way that if they have any issues, they strive to find solution to it and make the best result out of their situation. We don't give up easily. Whenever the situation is, we don't give up. And then the other things that you remember are the things that the best way to predict your future is to create it. And the one that I like most is this: finding what you like to do. I mean, find out what you like doing best, and get someone else to pay for it, doing it. Footballers, basketballers. So, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Adewale, for that introduction. Now we're going to give Priska a warm welcome to our youth program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for the introduction. Good afternoon, everybody. How are you doing today? You guys look stressed. Don't worry, this is going to be a good presentation and potentially free money for people that are looking to start their own business, especially students. So, at the Small Business Center, we have a number of different resources. Some programs for adults over the age of 18 who are looking to start their own business. We have a $5,000 grant program. And we also have a program for students, and that's what I'm going to be talking about today. And you can access about $3,000 in funding to get your business off the ground. So if you're interested in running your own business, arts and crafts, or whatever you're thinking, maybe you're doing something IT, talk to me, right? Let's have a conversation. There may be an opportunity for you to actually get some funding through the Halton Region Small Business Center. And there's no catch. The only catch is you have to complete your business at the end of the summer, okay? Okay. So I'm not going to go through everything today just because I don't have access to the full slides, but I will be talking about what it takes to actually be a part of this program, which is, I think, personally, an amazing opportunity for anybody looking to explore entrepreneurship without taking any risk. So the first thing is just going to introduce the center itself. Then I'm going to introduce you to the program. Then I'm going to give you an overview of the program. I'm not going to talk about Screen today. Screen is the online platform, but I don't have access to my computer, so I can't show you. There's also some examples I'll share with some alumni that have completed the program in the past. And then I'll answer any questions that you may have about the program itself. So who do we serve? We're basically working with all sorts of entrepreneurs, from youth, 15 and younger, to people who are in their 70s and 80s who are still looking to start their own business and grow their business. So anyone who's thinking about starting and getting established and maybe getting a location, looking to expand their own existing business, or young individuals like yourselves who want to run their own business over the summer months and potentially get a grant of up to $3,000. We do one-on-one private consultations, so you can meet with us one-on-one to talk about your business. And we can help you in many different things like market research, marketing, financials, operations. Just make sure that you get off on the right foot. And that's the main mandate that we have at the Halton region. We have a number of special events and seminars that we host throughout the year. I do have my brochure here if you want to grab it to see what are some of the boot camps that we run, what are some of those special sessions that we have throughout the year. And we have an access to professionals program, so if students are interested in meeting with lawyers, accountants, marketing professionals to help their business get off the ground, it's an amazing opportunity to meet with somebody pro bono, so no cost to you, and get that advice before you actually start your business. So what is Summer Company? So Summer Company is a youth entrepreneurship program, so you have to be between the ages of 15 and 29, okay? That's the age range. And you have to be going back to school in September, okay? So if you're in grade 9, grade 10, all the way up to university, where maybe you're in your last year, maybe you're 29, you're about to graduate, you would be eligible for this program. So you have until the very last year before the age of 29 to apply for this program. Now what we do there is we provide you hands-on business training and mentorship. So we bring in speakers, we bring in experts, we teach you about market research, the fundamentals of bookkeeping and advertising and marketing. And we do a full-on training session with you, and it's done over the summer as you are working on your business. Students start and run their own business. That's the whole mandate of what we're looking for. So your whole goal is, you have an idea and you want to get it started. Our goal is to help you to be successful and also give you funding at the same time. And if you're successful in getting the funding, the initial $1,500 is given up to you up front. And that $1,500 is used for any startup expenses that you may have for your business. So let's say you're doing window washing and that's the business you want to start. Maybe you want to buy a water fed pole, maybe you want to buy some towels and things like that. Up to $1,500 you can spend, and we can give you that money up front. Now, once you complete the program, meaning you complete your 12 hours and you run your business over the summer, we give you a bonus $1,500 at the very end of the summer, where you can take it back to school or use it for anything else that you need in terms of maybe your personal life. We don't track that final 15. The first 1,500, however, has to be spent towards your business. Okay? Now, who can be eligible? As long as you're between the ages of 15 and 29 and returning to school in the fall, you will be eligible for this program, and you have to be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident. Okay? So, if you're already running a business and you've registered the business already, as long as it's been registered this year and not last year, you should be fine. Okay? If you've never registered a business, this program is perfect for you because this is for essentially new entrepreneurs in the community. And then, just by show of hands, who lives in Oakville? Milton, Burlington, Georgetown. You should hear crickets. I'm from Georgetown, so. Okay, so most of you are from the Halton area, which is great. So the next thing is, if you do run your business over the summer and let's say you are still looking to generate some supplementary income, you want to work, we still do allow you to work, and that's perfectly fine, as long as it's under 12 hours per week, okay? Because the whole goal for this program is you need to contribute at least 35 hours or so every week to your business, okay? And that can be arranged in any way. So it could be that you have to do some social media marketing, you're traveling with your client, you have to do your bookkeeping and record keeping. All that counts towards your hours. Now, what are the minimum hour requirements to complete over the summer? If you're a high school student, who here is in high school? Okay, most of you. Who here is in university college? Okay. Because most of you are in high school, the hour commitment would be 280 hours over the summer. So our deadline date is May 17th, which I'll show you in a few slides. But after that date, once you get approved into the program, you can essentially start right away, or you can wait until you're done school. Okay, for us it doesn't really matter, but the training sessions you'll still have to attend early on, okay? That's the only thing. If you're post-secondary and you're university or college, you have to complete a total of 420 hours over the summer, okay? Now, what is the application process? How do you apply? How do you get approved? It's pretty standard and pretty straightforward. You go on the Summer Company website, and I have the flyer here. You can just take it with you as you leave. You go under the eligibility list, and they'll ask you a bunch of questions about your eligibility. If you're approved, then it'll take you to the next step where you'll actually fill out an online application. We're gonna get notification that you've applied or at least have shown interest. We're gonna reach out to you and say, hey, you started your application. You know, there's some questions that we may ask you, and then hopefully you'll respond back to that. Just let us know if you're still considering summer company as an option. And once you're on the platform, what we're gonna do is we're gonna ask you to submit a business plan, okay? And the business plan is what I call a summary business plan in this case, because you're submitting maybe a 7 to 8 page document. The template is already on the summer company website. You just download it, you fill it out, okay? And it's gonna tell you step by step what you have to fill out as well. And once you submit that business plan online, as well as your cash flow and your startup costs, which is also done through the screen portal, we get a notification that you've submitted your business plan in full. If there's mistakes, it's okay. We review your application prior to you actually reviewing your business plan. So if you haven't filled out your cash flow, we can come back to you and say, hey, you didn't fill out your cash flow, fill it out, I'll reopen the application, and then you can go back and do it. So if you make a mistake, it's fine. Okay? We can always go back and actually adjust those things. But 3 things you need: a business plan, cash flow in terms of how much money you plan to make over the next 3 months, as well as your startup cost. Where's that initial $1,500 going to be spent? And we always tell all of our clients or all of the students to maximize the $1,500. If you don't maximize the $1,500, the final $1,500 you get, there's going to be a deduction. So let's say you spent $800 initially, you're going to get only $800 at the very end. So we say, spend money on advertising or maybe buy another product, whatever it is. We want you to maximize that grant to the best of your ability because we don't want to get back to the problems. The program providers, meaning myself and my colleague Nacho, will review the applications, and if you feel like you have a decent application, we will call you in for an interview. And generally, these interviews are done through Zoom. So you meet us through Zoom, and we ask you a series of questions, and after that, we decide if you feel that your business idea is ready for funding or not. And right now, we actually got more funding from the province, which is great, because initially we only had 8 spots, now we have 12. And we only have 5 students picked up. Right, so you may be still eligible for the final 7 spots if you want to really join the program and are really considering entrepreneurship as an opportunity. So if you meet the requirements, we call you for an interview, and if we say, yeah, you're good to go, we're going to contact you and let you know, yeah, you've been approved into the program. And by May 17th, we're going to start reaching out to all of those students and telling them that, hey, this is the information of the program, this is what we need from you, and the program kind of kickstarts from there. But as a summer student where you're still in high school, again, you don't have to formally start until July. Okay? But there are 2 sessions in June that you do have to attend. One is on a Saturday. It's a full day training session where we take you through market research, marketing, operations, financials. We bring in an expert, it's about a 7-8 hour session. And then there's another session on insurance as well as banking and learning about how to open up a business bank account, how to get insurance, etc. Okay? Aside from that, you don't have to start formally until July. So just to give you an overview of the business plan, because I can't show you today, it's only about 7 or 8 pages, and it's just a template. So what we're looking for is like a few paragraphs, just talking to us about what is your product, what is your need, why will people want it, what does your cash flow look like, what research have you done to determine if this idea is good or not. So we're really looking at your thoughts and ideas in terms of what initial research have you really done for this particular product or service. And again, once you fill out the 7 to 8 pages, you submit it along with your cash flow statement as well as your startup costs. Scroll to the bottom of the startup calculator, you'll see another one for proceed to cash flow statement. And that's where you're going to project your future cash flow. Okay? And here, in the startup calculator, you're going to show us exactly where you're going to spend the initial $1,500. So we say, hey, this is a fair spending. We think the person is actually going to be spending this money in the right areas. And again, maximize it. Okay? The next slide, I think there's a few more on the screen. So where can you spend the money in terms of your startup? It could be equipment, insurance, other expenses. We could include gasoline or anything related, right? The whole goal is at the end of the summer, you submit all of your receipts to us, and as long as it equals $1,500
Just like
more,
this.
you're fine. Okay? If it's under $1,500, then we're probably going to tell you to boost it up and maybe buy something else, because again, we want to make sure you capitalize on the full $1,500 upfront. Okay? And as you can see at the bottom here, once you go to the cash flow, there's a proceed to cash flow statement. That's where you're going to fill out your sales forecast for the 3 months that you're, or 2 months that you're running your business. Okay? And this is what the cash flow looks like. So what you're going to put in is your sales forecast for July, August, maybe September. The summer company award is going to automatically pop up once you actually fill out the startup costs, and then your own contribution is if you decide to include any. And under that, it's going to have basically where all those cash flows are going to come from. So it's pretty standard. It's not hard, and if you need help, I'm here. Right? You can always reach out to me directly. One of our expectations is you actually fill out a lot every day if possible, right? But the end goal is to show that total 280 hours being spent, okay? So if you don't hit your total 280 hours, unfortunately you won't be eligible for the final $1,500. So this calendar that we have on our screen platform, you're gonna track all of your hours. It could be as simple as you did a social media post. You did some bookkeeping. Maybe you went out to see a client. Maybe you're doing landscaping and you actually went out and had to buy some products for your business, right? There could be so many different things that you could be doing. And all that counts towards your hours. Anything and everything related to your business, you would add those hours here. And as long as they equal 280, you get the final $1,500 payment at the beginning. The other supplementary thing is, along with the hours, you also attend a number of different training sessions. There's about 7 or 8 of them throughout the year. We talk about entrepreneurship and mental health. We talk about the bookkeeping and market research, digital marketing, and as I mentioned, the first one will be insurance and banking. And there's a few other sessions throughout as well. You're really going to learn what it takes to be an entrepreneur in this program. That's for sure. Let's skip over this one. Now, just to show you some examples, so this was Mark from, he started business for the funnel cake. So he's making customized funnel cakes, and he was selling it at the farmer's market. And he was just showing, this was actually supposed to be video, but he was showing basically how busy the farmer's market was. Here's another example, piano lessons. We've got tutoring, we've got piano lessons, all sorts of things with arts, right? So this is another example of another student that ran piano lessons over the summer. And on the next slide, you'll see a bunch of others. Or maybe we'll skip that. But we've had landscapers and so many other different types of business ideas. So yeah, whatever you think you can do over the summer, let me know, right? Let's have a conversation about that. The deadline for the program is Friday, May 17th. So you have about 2 weeks left still to apply for the program. Try not to get overwhelmed. It's not supposed to be a hard business plan. This program is actually not supposed to be too tedious. The starter committee program, our expectation is a 20-page business plan for the adults and full details, and it's very, very competitive. This program, for the business plan itself, we're not expecting you to write essays. We're expecting you to write a decent amount of information so we know exactly what you're going to be doing over the summer. And the spots did increase. So we now, 2 weeks ago, we got more funding from the province, and we have 12 spots in total, with 5 already filled. So there's 7 spots still left in the program. If you're interested, let me know. I brought brochures, I brought my card, and I'm more than happy to talk to you about the program further. With that said, are there any questions for me or the program itself? Anyone considering running their own business? Or ever thought about it? You are? A couple of you? Yeah, let's have a conversation, right? It doesn't hurt because it may lead you down a path where this becomes your future. And we've had students where, recently a videographer that I worked with was a student of ours in 2018. He's running a full-on production in his own business. We've had people go on to do this as a full-time living, or students that have gone on to become doctors and doing some great things. I had in 2017 or 16, I had a student, she was doing photography over the summer, and now she's a gynecologist. So the program teaches you to think outside the box, because working for someone is great, because you'll get paid. But what if you can make money on your own? What if you can make your own life? And you're gonna learn very quickly when you go into the working world that sometimes being creative and being an entrepreneur is better than working for someone else. So thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, I'm here. If you have a question?
Yeah, I would just want to ask a question about when you are between the ages of 16 to 21, the first thing that comes into your mind is, how do I start? And that's maybe will be an uphill task for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And how do you expect them to address that? Because filling all this business plan, filling this information in might be a bit daunting for them.
Absolutely. We have a 15-year-old right now in our program. This person help me Halton. Another person, she's 16, and she's going to be selling greeting cards. Right? We're not expecting the world from this business plan, right? For our adult program, yes, but we understand that students that come from high school will be different from students that go from university, college, right, and beyond. So we don't just look at, black and white. We say, okay, this person clearly in high school, maybe the plan isn't the greatest, or they haven't the greatest plan. Maybe reach out for help, whatever else. But then we take that into consideration when we come to the final decision, right? And if you interview really well and then you have a solid pitch, sometimes people are good at pitching rather than writing, right? So we take into consideration both, right? But like I said, there's students in the program that are up to 15, right? And I've worked with students that were tiny, right? And now they're doing some amazing work, right? And I think you have a question back, sir?
Yeah, you had mentioned the amount of hours for the secondary candidates and then another set of hours for post-secondary candidates. Could you just reiterate that?
Yeah, sure. So for high school students, it's university, it's about 420 hours.
Thank you.
No problem. Yes.
Can you choose to start a business? How is like one spot or two spots?
So we're looking for more of a solo entrepreneur, somebody who's looking to do it on their own. Just because that's how the program is designed, and that's how the province asks us to do the funding. So what I would say is if you have a business partner already, but let's say you haven't formally launched something, start as a sole proprietorship, register it as sole, and later on you guys can register as a partnership. But at least, the registration process, it has to be a sole proprietorship. Yes.
Only one person gets ready then.
Yeah, so it's only based on the individual, one individual. So if it's a partnership businesses, we don't allow partnerships, it's a solopreneur business.
So how many do you offer this sort of program to in a year?
So it's every summer, and our from February all the way till around May, and it's 12 spots in the entire region. Now it's 12, it used to be 8. So we got a little bit more funding, which is great. So if you want to join, probably now is the best time to actually join the program because we have some more funding, so we'll be more lenient with some entrepreneurs. Before, back in the day, it was, we only had 8 spots and it was just tougher. But we get anywhere between 40 to 50 business plans. Yeah, I have about 9 just still in review right now and interviews, right? And that's just build your character, right? Even going through the interview process, writing the business plan, those are skills you'll learn, right? Let's say you don't get into the program this year, you can always apply again next year, right? Maybe get a better idea next year. But just go through the exercise, it's always good to do.
I don't know if you mentioned it, I just want to clarify, did you say that they can register a business like today?
Yeah, as long as it's been registered in 2024. Yeah, not 2023. Yes.
What if you don't maximize $1,500 given to you at the start?
We try to force you to maximize it. You can also spend money on marketing, maybe buying another piece of equipment, right? We want you to get the full $3,000. That's it. Ultimately, it doesn't make sense if you're applying for $800 and you only get $800 at the end. So that extra money could be good for school, it could be good for your personal life, right? You have expenses. And imagine this, if you're working minimum.
Now we're going to switch to the next thing on the agenda. Before I ask this very important question, do we know the deadline to apply for this? Only the kids, only the youths, only the youths. Adia? May 17th. Do we know how old, what grade you have to be in to apply? Sorry, I can hear you? You have to be 15. What grade do you have to be? Between what grade to what grade? That's the correct answer. What grade to what grade? Do you remember? You?
15 to 29.
15 to 29, that's good. Thank you. The next question is, how many of you, now that you've listened to Priscan, how many of you are interested in applying for this grant? Raise up your hands if you are now very interested. Okay, before this, how many of you didn't know about this before today? That's good. How many of you are now interested about applying for this grant?
So they could use the 90 meter.
Do you guys have your phone with you? Do you want to use Mentimeter? You can, now it's time for you to bring out your phones if you have your phones. If you can scan this code and then enter it, you're free to bring out your phone now. Dun, 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 dun. Are you guys doing it? All right, do you guys know how to find it? Of course you will. Are the responses coming in?
Did you guys find the question?
Did you guys find the questions? Yeah? Okay, are you responding? Let me know if you've responded. If you've responded, you can raise up your hand. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Abose? Ebube. Who else has? Did you all see the question? Did you all see the question? Did you see the question, guys? If you did not see the question, raise up your hand. You did not see the question, did you scan the code? This is the question, will you be interested in starting a small business? Do you need the scan code again, or you? Okay, how many? Not sure? Not sure? Huh, that's interesting. Adam, have you responded? Yeah? Did you see the question? It won't scan. Do you guys have access to Wi-Fi? I think you need access to Wi-Fi. That's probably why. We can do the manual question later because they may not have access to Wi-Fi. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you so much for those who could respond. We are going to introduce our very own person here who is also very young and he's youth. His name is Daniel Abosede, Igniting Change, a Political Journey. Daniel immigrated from Nigeria when he was only 7 years old. He's 17 years old in grade 11 in a school in Hamilton. He's done an amazing job in the society. He is currently, he immigrated with his younger sister who is 13 years old. He founded the Black Youth Council, the first of its kind in Ontario, Hamilton, Ontario School Board. He currently serves as a vice president, student council, and he's poised on assuming the president's role come 2024-2025 section, becoming the first Black president in 60 years history of their school. Beyond academics and leadership roles, Daniel is actively engaged in several endeavors. He serves as a youth leader at his church. He competes as a rep basketball. He proudly represents the non-for-profit organizations Lifting Stripes Initiative as an ambassador. Please, let's give it up to Daniel Abosede. Oh, now I see why you play basketball. You're way taller than me. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon. First, I'd like to thank NCU for giving me this opportunity for me to speak to you guys and inform you guys. And I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Daniel Abosede. I'm 17. I'm grade 11. I attend a school called Bishop Bryan. It's a Catholic high school in the Hamilton District School Board. Hamilton, well, with Catholic District School Board. I'm involved in a lot of extracurriculars. Right now, I'm the vice president of the student council, as she mentioned. We currently had our elections and I won, and I'm going to be the president next year. I'm also involved in a lot of school clubs. Out of school, I play on a rep basketball team called Blitz. I also participate in a couple other organizations like LSI, which is a non-profit. I also lead at my church, Bethel, with over 300 volunteer hours as a youth leader for the grade school and kindergarten kids. So I'm just here today to talk to you guys about leadership in the community and then getting involved in politics at a young age. So my parents moved around a lot when we first came to Canada, and then I came to Hamilton when I was in grade 9 in the second semester. So I really didn't know a lot of people like that, so I had to start off by like building a lot of connections. So when I first came, I tried my best, even though it wasn't easy, to make friends. I first started making friends with people in my class, and then started trying to explore around the school, and then join different clubs. So like I joined like the robotics, I joined like the diversity clubs, and I tried helping other clubs with like different organizations, with different events to help them start. So with that, I was able to start being able to build like my profile around the school. I did track, and I also played football, and with that was able to help me meet a lot of people and like build connections and make friends. Because one thing that I realized like in the journey was that you have to be like active in like your school community if you want to be able to like know people, which is very important, especially when I decided to start running. So then at the end of the school year in grade 9, I decided that I was gonna try to join the student council because it's a good opportunity. So I was able to get into a position called Healthy Action Rep, where I did spiritual and the mental and then physical health. It was good in the beginning and very fun, and then after I was able to find another position in the upcoming year and then run for vice president. And after like I started taking it seriously, because I realized, because I want to go into computer science for university, it's very competitive, and I was doing my research and I figured out that even if you have really good grades, it still won't be able to get, it's still very difficult. So one thing that you need to take part was more like community and leadership roles. So I decided to run. It wasn't very easy. It took a lot of time, like a lot of campaigning. I had to think of different strategies to be able to convince people. I ran against one other candidate. She was a female. She was also very known around the school. So I had to use, like I had to go through the people I knew and then the clubs I knew, and I had to do a lot of promoting. My main tactic was social media. So like using Snapchat and Instagram, I made a bunch of accounts and I did a lot of video interviews and stuff like that with people around my school community. And I also got them to repost me kind of like on their stories, which helped a lot. And it was very detrimental in my success as being the president. And then I'm also here to let you guys know that it's also very important for you to join politics at a young age. While I was running, like during the election process, a lot of people I knew who were friends with me, I asked to vote for me. They said, "Oh, I really wish you win, but I don't do politics. Like I'm not gonna vote. I don't do politics." So then I asked if you really wanted me to win, then why wouldn't you vote? I was curious because there's no way you're gonna ask me, tell me, I don't do politics, but I want you to win. And I asked them, so what would happen if the other person wins? They said they wouldn't be happy, they would complain. So instead of you complaining, you also have to realize that every vote counts and you have power in your hand. So it's very important for you to be able to put in votes like that, and each vote helps. And I'm also gonna talk about how it's very important to be a leader in your community. As someone who's actively trying to apply to university and scholarship now, since I will be going into grade 12 next year, one thing that's very detrimental is being a leader in the community. So you don't have to, I know it's not easy going out there and being like public speaking or like just being active like in the community, but it's just small steps. So it could literally be anything. Like me personally, one of the first leadership opportunities I did was to start at my church, because that's like my community, right? So like there are people that I know, the people I see every Sunday, people that I pray with. So it was very comfortable for me, and it was good practice for me to be able to build like skill traits and public speaking attributes to be able to talk with people. And another thing I recommended was that I was able to get a job at like a public place, I got a job at, it's a park called Waterworks. It's like a water park. I was there as a cashier. That also builds great public speaking skills because I was able to speak with a lot of like people I don't really know. I was able to make conversation with them, which is very important, and it will also build that public speaking skill and give you the confidence to be able to go for leadership opportunities like in your environment and school area. I would just like to end it off by saying that being a leader in your community is very important. It might not be easy, but just baby steps. You can start somewhere. You don't have to just automatically leap into. You don't have to automatically just leap into like going for president or going for massive leadership opportunities. You start small, and you also have to do that by staying. You start small and networking. So you have to be able to talk to a lot of people and get to know a lot of people with communication. And then when you're able to do that, it will help a lot. It'll help, and it'll eventually give you the strength to be able to do stuff like become a leader, like in your school community, or stuff like president. Thank you very much.
Let's give a big round of applause to Daniel. I really enjoyed his speech. I mean, look at the steps he took, and he took those steps on his own without anybody prompting him. He was to vote, but then he spoke to them about it, and he was taking small steps, baby steps. And as he said, he also, when he was in church, he said he started when he was comfortable. So we don't have to be there before we start, just start where you are. Just make sure you're taking baby steps towards, whatever plan you want to achieve. And he did have plans. So let's give a round of applause to him once again. Do you have any questions for Daniel? Does anyone have any questions for Daniel? Okay. Sorry, you have a question, Prince.
How do you balance work life with school?
Did you hear the question? He says, how do you, go ahead.
How do you balance your work life with everything that in terms of your extracurriculars?
In my opinion, it's not very easy. Like it takes a lot of time and practice. When I first joined like all the school clubs and councils, like I'm usually like a very academic person, like high 90s student. My marks dropped in the beginning because I wasn't used to having that much extracurricular activities and that much stuff on my schedule. So I just say it takes like a lot of practice, and it takes you realizing you have to drop some like unnecessary activities. Like I was very active like in the video. I still play the video game a lot, like not a lot, but I used to play the game a lot. And I realized that that's time that I spend wasted on that I could be using to get like other stuff done, like my schoolwork. Because I realized that if you're gonna be active in the community, you have to put stuff aside. And I would recommend like having like a schedule, like a calendar. That helps a lot, so you know the stuff that you have to do, and you're able to do checklists and get them done. And then just be wise with your time. Like sometimes I have to stay up later because I get distracted and I realize I have my phone a lot, so I have to realize that I have to put my phone away sometimes to be able to get more work.
That is brilliant. Isn't it brilliant? Put your phone away. You want to be serious. Another question, sorry. After a minute, one more. Does anybody have a question to ask here? She doesn't know. Would that be for Daniel? Yes. Okay. Repeat the question. Daniel, do you, sorry, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Kind of like, how did you manage like that job or like that? And then was it really hard to get a job or like a physical job?
What did you do to get a job in that place? We want to know the secret.
You have to stay very persistent and consistent with your application process. Like you need, because in my situation, like it's kind of like a super long story, but I took advice from the wrong people. Like in the beginning of the job process, I was told to just lie on my resume and put like fake experiences. Like I applied at a job place, and then it turned out the manager there used to be the manager at the place I lied that I worked about back when I worked there. So like, it wasn't really easy. So you have to use your extracurriculars and like any activity that you've done, like anything, any volunteer activity as job experience, and just be able to explain it well. Like one of my aunts, she owns like an African food store, and I used to help her on Sundays after church. I use that in my work experience. I also use like playing on like a sports team as work experience. That gives me collaboration skills. So you just have to use your experience wisely and just try to put any experience that you have down on your resume and stay consistent. But like the job I got while I worked at SOAR when I was in grade 9, like every summer, it wasn't easy. What I did was I applied, and then they didn't get back to me, so I didn't get the manager's email, and I applied again. And I called the manager to let her know that I applied and just like stayed persistent. So after like a week and a half, I just asked her if I get any updates, just to keep me updated. It took another week, but then they got back to me, and then I prepared heavy for my interview, and then once I got the job, like I just have to stay persistent. So like usually what I recommend is that you apply in person, not only online, because online it's like they get a lot of online applications, so they see a bunch of resumes. So they're most likely going to choose the more experienced resume. But if you're able to apply in person, you go up to the person, like talk to the person kind of, and like talk to the manager, like let them know why you'd be a good candidate, which would usually end up getting you an interview. If you're able to just pass like your public speaking skills, like your interview skills, it really won't be that hard.
Very fun. I think the key is persistency, and just keep doing what you are doing. Whatever it is that you're doing right now, just be a professional. Just keep practicing until you become a pro in what you do. And when Dana was just answering that, it reminded me of how when I first started my career about 20-something years ago in Canada, I lied on my resume and it didn't work hard. So it's bad to lie. Just say the truth, okay? So write what you have actually done, and then when you're speaking to that hiring manager, they see through you. They see the truth in what you're saying. So my own was, I got a call, and they were like, interviewing me, like, oh, which of the resume are you talking about? Like, how can I not know my resume, really? Right? So lying is bad, okay, guys? Thank you so much. We're going to take one more question from any of the youth here, and then we're going to switch to the next. If there is no question, then, okay. All right, so we're going to switch to the next one. Thank you, guys. So Zainab Williams is a certified financial planner and founder of Fund Evolve Incorporation. Fund Evolve is on a mission to make unbiased financial advice accessible to everyone. Through her innovative platform, Fund Evolve, she provides people with tailored financial solutions, revolutionizing the way individuals approach wealth management. Beyond her entrepreneurship pursuits, Zainab is a passionate advocate for gender equality and actively contributes to promoting women's well-being, driving impactful change in the financial world. Please, can you join me in giving a warm NCH welcome to Zainab Williams.
Thank you so much for having me. And for the introduction, my name is Zainab Williams. Next slide. Next slide. Okay, and from underserved communities, learn all about personal finance so that they can make well-informed financial decisions. And just to start off this discussion, why do you think it's a good idea to know how to manage your money? Anyone? Anyone? Yes, right there.
So you're not broke?
That's a very good answer. So that we're not broke. Anyone else? Anyone else? Going once? Yes?
So that it builds good habits when
Exactly. It's all about understanding how to manage your money so that when you do have a lot more, it can last a lot longer. So the three pillars are you're able to take control of your money, you can be able to break free from debt, and you're able to build a strong financial foundation. It all begins with just good financial habits. How many of you here have ever had a part-time job? Okay, and what were you doing? Along those? Okay, that's good. And yourself? Nice. And I saw you. Anyone else? And what about a full-time job? Anyone here with a full-time job? Couple of jobs? Okay. So that's good. And the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because income equals the value of your skills multiplied by your demand. People are willing to pay you more if they think that the skills that you have is going to be very valuable. And that's why it's important when you start your journey, like working at Longos, all of these things, they eventually add up. They add up as to how much you can be able to save, how much you can be able to invest, how well you can be able to pay your bills. And once you've already started making that money, it has to land into your checking account. And from there, that's where you can divide up where your money goes. Have any of you ever heard of a budget? Okay? And how do you budget?
You want to set yourself a ballpark of how much money you would spend for something,
Mhm.
try to maintain that certain spending.
Good, that's really good. And have you ever struggled with budgeting? Okay. No, it's perfect. And what do you use for budgeting?
I don't really spend much, so I don't really budget. And my mom does it.
Oh, your mom helps you out with your budgeting? That's awesome. How about yourself?
I just make sure I'm not spending more money than I'm actually getting.
You know what? You just hit the nail on the head right there. You're not spending more than you make. That's really, really good. Anyone else have any budgeting experiences? No? Okay. I really liked your answer because a budget allows you to know what is coming in, what's going out, and how much you're able to save. And when it comes to budgeting, it's important for you to know what exactly are fixed expenses. So these are the expenses that never change on a monthly basis, whether it's your rent, your car loan, your insurance, your Amazon subscriptions or Netflix, all of those things, they never change. They're your fixed expenses. And then you have your variable. This is your entertainment, your shopping. And as someone else said there, that they always understand what's coming in and what's coming out. And that's where your variable expenses can impact how much money is left for you. And something that I'd want for you to understand when it comes to your budget, there is a 50-30-20 rule. Half of your money must go on your needs, things that cannot change on a monthly basis. 30% can go towards your fun money. This is the entertainment that we spoke about. And then 20% will go towards your savings, or if you have any debt, it will go towards that repayment. Let's go next, please. Now I wanted to ask you a question. Among these 4 things here, what would you say is a must-have, a nice-to-have, and a savings goal? Anyone? Yes.
A must-have would be like food, or a nice-to-have would be like a cell phone, or like a laptop.
Okay. about the Beyonce tickets? You actually got it though. How about yourself? Yes.
I say Beyonce tickets, it's a saving goal.
Okay, yeah.
Nice to have.
Nice to have, my friend. Nice to have.
No.
Do you negotiate with Philo?
No.
Exactly. Okay, so yes, a nice to have would be, yeah, maybe a Beyonce ticket or whatever, a laptop. Because remember, you guys only have $500, right? You only have $500 to spend. Yes, how about yourself?
The bottom two would be a must-have.
Yes.
And nice to have would be the Beyonce ticket, and the savings goal would be the replaceable laptop.
Okay, that's a good answer. I saw someone else's hand back there.
I was gonna say the same thing.
Exactly. You're absolutely right. The cell phone bill, you can't negotiate. It's always the $40 that's coming out of your account. Your food, we must all eat. And then the laptop, because you only have $500, you have to save towards it. And then the Beyonce ticket, for some people, they say it's a must-have, while it's a nice-to-have. Okay, next, please. Something that you're going to start to see quite often is a lot of the times when they're speaking about budgeting, they often tell you that you'd have your income, and then you'd have your expenses, and then whatever is left over is the money that you save, which is not the right way of budgeting. Budgeting is all about you understand your income, you understand that your savings goal is also an expense. You have to add it in there. And then any bills you pay is also listed. And then whatever is left over, it's still fun money. But always pay yourself first. Always. Any questions around this? No? Sure, go ahead.
I have a question on how this works. Cause this is for month by month, but I know that some paychecks come bi-weekly sometimes.
Yes.
So would it be in the beginning of every month, you calculate this from your last month's payments? But how does it be divided during the month?
Yes. So if you, let's say for example that you get paid on a bi-weekly basis, you kind of have an idea of how much money is coming in, and you also have an idea of how your expenses are going to be. So every time you understand that on the beginning of the month, you may have this much. And then you also know that there are certain bills that get paid at a particular month as well. So what you're doing now is you're dividing up your paycheck on a weekly basis, and then you're looking at your expenses to see which ones are getting paid at which time. And that's how you start to build your budget. And from there, because you have an idea of how much your total is, that's where you can add in at least even a $50 to your name to pay yourself. And then whatever is left over, you can still spend it guilt-free because you still paid yourself first. Does that answer your question? Okay. Anyone else? Yes.
What's that leftovers, leftover category?
So the leftover category, this is the money that has been left over after you've taken care of every bill. So you've paid yourself first here, you've paid off your bills, this is a total of all your bills. So total income minus total bills equals your leftover amount. Does that answer your question? Okay. Anyone else? No? Okay, we go there. How many of you have ever heard about investing? Okay. What do you know about investing? Yes. Yes. The S&P 500? That's a great answer. Okay. How about yourself?
Investing is basically putting your money into some stocks and stuff. And usually, kind of like a gamble.
That's a really good answer. I'll get back to you on that in terms.
Investing is when you put money into something and expect a certain value out of it, either long term or short term.
Exactly, that's a good answer. In terms of, because the young man there said it's kind of like gambling. That is not really true. And the reason is because when you are investing, you are evaluating what type of companies you want to put your money into. How many of you have heard of Walmart? You've all heard of Walmart, right? Would you say that that's a good company you'd want to put your money into?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Very profitable, a lot of people know it, and a lot of people shop there.
There you go. Do you think that's still gambling? You see, you made some really good comments there. It's profitable, people go there, and we all need food, and Walmart now has grocery chains in their stores. So that's really good. You just evaluated the value of a stock. So the reason why though, sometimes buying just one stock may not be a good idea when you're starting out, it's because when you buy one company, if it goes under, all your money goes down with it. And that's why when you're starting out, it is a good idea to diversify your investments. So that means you can look into ETFs, index funds, or mutual funds. So any of these guys, these mutual funds or ETFs, can carry a Walmart, Meta, Nike, McDonald's, Adidas, Google. They can all bundle everything into one fund. This way you're just paying for one mutual fund that can carry 50 companies. This way, if any one of those companies goes under, you're still safe. And that's why when you're starting out on your journey, it's important to invest in things that will reduce your actual impact. Any questions? No? All right, you can go on. The reason why I wanted to bring up this chart is because a lot of you here, you are young, you're starting out on your financial journey, and you have something that is so critical at this age, which is compound interest. That means money is growing on top of money. For yourselves, when you're starting out at age 20 and you're just investing $200 a month, by the time you are at age 40, it might have grown to $250,000. By the time you're at 65, you're close to $1 million. Whereas someone who's starting out at age 40, they don't have a lot to catch up and grow their money. And that's why for you sitting here, you are at a stage where you can be able to grow your wealth. And that's the important part about investing. Have any of you ever heard of a credit score? Can you please share what you've heard about a credit score?
I think it depends on if you have a credit card, how much you spend on that credit card, and pay it back. I'm not sure what's going to do with credit cards and pay it back.
Okay. Okay, good answer. What about yourself?
It's like, take the calculation of like your credit and like how if you're able to pay it back on time, like how often you pay it back on time. It's like more you pay on time, pay in full.
Okay, sure. And what about yourself?
What I love about credit score is basically the higher it is, the better it is. And, so companies look at your credit score. Like if you want to buy a car, they check your credit score. And having a good credit score is beneficial.
Okay, that's a good answer. How about yourself in the back?
I was just gonna say how it's also like used to see to determine like how good you are at like paying back like your taxes essentially, and then banks also like use it to determine if they're gonna give you loans if you want to buy a house or a car.
That's a good answer. And yourself?
The credit score is basically how well you spend your money on your credit card. And like, if you have bad credit, it means that you spend a lot of money on your credit card and it's hard for you to pay it back because it takes you a longer time because you spend so much without really caring.
Exactly. All of you had really good answers because, you know, as soon as you graduate from school, you think that your report card is gone, but as an adult, it it gets replaced by a credit report. Basically, it does show you how well you've paid your debt, and the higher it is, the better it is, because it can impact your ability to even rent a house, the ability to repay your loans, and also your ability to even qualify for a loan. So that's why it's important for you to have a good credit score. Remember that comment in regards to that laptop that cost $1,000 over there? Imagine now if once you graduate, a company tells you, we're willing to give you $1,000 on your actual credit card. Let me just show you what that would look like. If you were to go ahead and take an actual credit card and paid off your minimum payment that they tell you it's okay to pay, it will take you 9 years to repay that actual laptop that you took for $1,000. And it will cost you close to $2,000 in interest to pay it off. And that's why it's important for you to have good saving skills so that you don't get into the trap of credit cards. So I wanted to leave you off with this chart here. The reason why it's important for you to understand this rule of 72, it's basically the amount of time it takes for your money to double. On this side here, if you had $10,000 and you were to put it into a savings account, it will take you 92 years for you to double your money. 92, if you had your money sitting in a savings account. While on this side, if you continuously owe money to your credit cards, you are doubling the credit company's money every 4 years. And this is why for you sitting here in this room, it's important to manage your money well and to be sitting in these two phases where you have your money working hard for you. Any questions at all? Oh? Yes.
Go back to the way you want to use your credit card, because I know some people say that like you should use it like it's your own debit card, like you buy everything with the credit card and then pay it off as soon as possible with your money, like right after you use it. Would that be like right, or do you like just do it like differently?
So that's a really good point. The reason why they say that is because if you already have the money sitting in your checking account, as soon as you swipe your credit card, you go home and you transfer that money back to your credit card. This helps you in building your credit, but if you're not in the habit of actually paying off your credit card, what would happen is you'd fall into the interest trap, whereby you're paying more than you shouldn't have. So yes, that is a good strategy of building your credit, but you also have to make sure that you do have the money to pay it back prior to the actual due date, so that you don't pay any interest at all. Any other questions? I'll come to you.
So it's better to like use a debit card first and then like pay it.
So this is where budgeting comes into the picture, right? So it's you're living in an age where you have social media impacting how you spend, where you go to eat, and all of that. So I will say that the best thing for you to do is to create a budget that allows you to spend your money wisely. When you're starting to fall into credit card debts, it's because you may have mismanaged your money and you don't have enough to pay for the essentials. So that's why budgeting is number one. Knowing where your money goes on a monthly basis is number two. And then ensuring that you don't get influenced by your friends, by social media is number three.
Sorry, you might have mentioned it before, but that rule on how to save, is it good to save like 10% of your money and put it away for maybe a miss that? Where you try to save some money and then pay the bills with the rest?
I would say that it really depends on your financial situation in terms of percentages, because in some cases you may have fixed expenses that won't allow you to even save 10% but as long as you're putting any amount, whether it's $50 or $100, and then taking a look at what's left over, that's how you start to determine if you can be able to save 5%, 10%, 15%, or 20%.
Okay,
I hope that answers your question.
One more question.
Okay.
One more question.
My friend.
So would it be smarter to start off with a debit card, like keep a debit card for your entire life, or to let it have a debit card for a while?
That really depends, because your credit card allows you to actually start building up your credit score. But if you are not managing your money wisely, then you would fall into that trap of being in debt. So you can start off with your debit card, and then you start to budget to see how you're spending your money, what's being left over, and then from there, as you get access to a credit card, now you know how much you spend on a monthly basis, and you can be taking that money that you use towards your budget. You can use your credit card, spend for things with your credit card, and pay it off right away, so you can maintain a good credit score.
I just have an addition. Sorry, I just have something to add to it. So what you just said. Okay, so just to contribute to what she said, I think some of us, we have pocket monies, right? So you don't have to wait to have that big amount of money before you can start saving. So your parents give you like $50 or $100, you have like a target. So for every $50, you should be able to save maybe 10, right? So that's part of starting your savings on time. So you don't have to say, oh, I have $100, and you just have to spend the whole of the $100. So set a target for yourself, like out of 100, you should save like 10. I think that's a good way to start, just to add to what she said. Thank you.
Thank you. Guys, please give it up for her.
Thank you.
Thank you so very much. If you want to take anything away from here, actually everything that has been discussed here, they're all very important. They talk about how to apply for grants, talking about how to make that your first job, and then talking about budgeting, right? So remember, you must not spend more than what you make. And don't be in that mall, shopping mall, and call your mom, Mom, Dad, can I buy this? You did not budget for it, so don't ask. Okay, guys? So remember that, all right? I guess right now,